done this before. This is very funny. This is so strange. I'm just seeing where this takes us. I can't see a damn thing. You want to get off my face for a bit? Do we have any people? We do. We have a couple of people. There we go. I don't know what this live stream is going to be about. That happens sometimes, right? No idea. I do know that once again, we're checking the connections. If you saw my last one, then you know that sometimes they just need to check the connections. I'm aware of a couple of things that have happened since the last live stream, because, you know, all of mine are sequential and each one informs the next one, but not enough, since I clearly don't, I have no idea what's going to come through tonight. Did anyone notice during the last one, there was a little blip? I wish I should have looked at what time it was, what time it took place. I didn't, though. There was a little blip where it kept going, but it like stopped and started. There was a distinct line. Something was significant. And it was also particularly significant that both my guinea pigs were squealing. They were arguing with one another. So I don't know what's going to come through tonight, but I know that I may as well just start talking because, and it always seems to me like it's going to be really short. And then sometimes it goes on for 3 hours, and I always feel like, well, they should be shorter, and I should just do like a couple of minutes, or like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or something like Rick Jewers, like, and they get these big followings, and I don't really care if I have a following or not, but somehow it's really just not up to me. I start talking, and then whatever comes out comes out. So I have Kenji back tonight. I was going to try a different animal, but until I get another bird, and I am shopping around for another bird, but I don't have any money, and it has to be the right bird. I don't want to just get like any free bird, but I do need bird energy. And anyway, there's an algebra to everything, isn't there? So tonight, mostly, I think they're just checking the connections, but the energy has shifted so much in like the last, what, day? The last two days, a day. And one of the things I noticed, I don't know if you saw my pizza video. It was a silly little video. But the energy of that day it marked a distinct shift. Thing, at least for me, but I've been feeling it with a lot. It became very fluid. Hang on. It became very fluid. I noticed that my daughter and I were both going around singing around the house, and something out. Are you through my earring? You are. Your tail's through my earring. Wait, ooh, that's weird. Get out. Okay. Hoop earrings and a snake. My daughter and I have been singing around the house, and I noticed that 6 years when I moved here, my number of things, my voice got really pinched, really pinched. Like there was when the Joan memories came back, there was so much just tension, incredible amount of tension around my my neck and all in my throat. And also when I stopped singing almost completely, really completely. Oh, I think I haven't mentioned this before. I had mercury poisoning when I was really ill. One of the things that I had was mercury poisoning. And that's significant if you know the Joan of Arc lifetime. Mercury is messenger of the gods. And Joan of Arc was called the messenger. And mercury is also, you know, a metal. And I got mercury poisoning from fillings because I had so many fillings in my teeth. And I was dying anyway. Nobody expected me to live. And I had heavy metal poisoning at one point, among other things, to such a degree that I couldn't even go, I couldn't even get chelation therapy because I was so weak that I wasn't expected to live through the chelation therapy. My organs were shutting down, and as kind of a Hail Mary procedure, nobody expected me to live anyway, but we pulled out all of my teeth because I couldn't afford to have any more mercury, but we also couldn't take it out of my system for a while. I did eventually do the chelation therapy, but I've got no teeth on the bottom. You know how I'm always saying this, every force evolves a form, and everything about your physical vessel is significant, means something. And when I got mercury poisoning, we pulled out all my teeth, and teeth represent your ability to, well, a number of things. Each tooth actually represents something different, something specific. But when I didn't think I was going to talk about this, when I have a top plate, but they were intended to be temporary dentures because nobody really even expected me to live. And then my permanent teeth financing fell through twice. I was promised that somebody was going to get me permanent teeth, and that didn't happen. And then eventually your lower everything atrophies, so if you don't use it. So now my lower dentures don't even fit. So now I've got no teeth on the bottom. So that represents power on earth, though. I know that because it's me, because everything that happens with me is relative to a group or a much larger situation. I know what that represents. It's not just about me personally. It's basically not about me personally at all. It's, I mean, it is, but that's minor. Really, it's about power on earth. And I knew that it represented the financial system. And I also know, because there's an indication of that in the same energy stream. I'm watching what happens in Frozen, since I know that that's our whole narrative in the Joan of Arc population, that turned into Disney, that subsequently, if you watch Frozen, the part in the end of the movie, Anna doesn't know how to skate. And she's slipping on the ice because the surface of the ground is very slippery, and she's slipping. And Elsa, when she and Elsa are together, she gets skates, and then she can grip. She has to learn how to be on Earth. And sometime, I don't know, I always threaten this, sometime I'm going to wind up doing something like a scene-by-scene analysis of movies, or show you where all the symbolism is that represents certain things that are so, it's disclosure, and not just about me. I don't mean about me. I mean about political events, and it's been very obvious the way things have developed if you look in the movies. And I know that there are some who would say that the movies create the change in consciousness, and that's less, it does. I mean, we, like on the Council of Balance, we manipulate the energy We manipulate the energy so that it comes down into certain things and takes specific forms. But then you can trace them back. You can see every force or every form, and you can say these are the ingredients, and it all comes from the same stream. But that wasn't what I was going to talk about. I know they're checking right now. They're just checking the connections. So I don't feel like this is going to be a really long stream, but I think I always say that. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Hang on. What was I going to talk about? Easter's coming. That's exciting. Shoot. So everyone's moving into their next highest level of service. The pigs are squealing. I'm just going to keep talking while they check. Let me see. What else we got? Localized polarity. Oh, so the last live stream, they're showing me 1-9, and it's 9:10 right now. They just drew my attention to the clock. So 9 for completion, 1 for new beginning. There's a flip. I just talked about the break in the last live stream. And what else was I going to say about this? I know they're just checking they're just checking connections right now. This might be a really, really short live stream, but I did have something I was going to say. Sorry, I'm disorganized. Let me see. Templates, how they work. The 11th commandment. You know, the 11th commandment is put the mountain in the valley. That's what they told me a while ago. And that's what I was going to say. Okay. It wasn't the 11th commandment. Well, I didn't come on to deliver the 11th commandment, but the 11th commandment was put the mountain in the valley, and that's how you're going to wind up reaching equality. It takes you back to 0 point, flat. That's what we need. Sometimes, change your subject, sometimes the exact thing that you need in your frequency to make up is what repels you. In spiritual development, often we are told to go to that which, like attracts like. Go to that which you're led to. And that's true. I'm never going to say that that's not true. It absolutely is. But sometimes in spiritual development, you have to do actually the opposite thing. And there's always an equal and opposite reaction. So I'm not sure if I have mentioned this before, but it did. I'm losing my state again. Oh, he's here. I may have mentioned this on a live stream previously, but since it cropped up, sometimes that can lead to imbalance in certain areas where you're comfortable doing something, and your comfort is based in familiarity. It's because you've done it so much that the thing you gravitate toward is the thing that you have enough of already. You don't need to go in that direction anymore. You're going to wind up sometimes becoming really imbalanced unless you're willing to do the thing that you've never done. I think I told this story, but one time I went into a fantastic rock shop in Saratoga Springs. I can't remember the name of it. It's really good. And they are so well stocked. They've got a lot of really unusual things. But I walked in there one time, and they have very knowledgeable staff. And I walked in, and I was so happy to see that they had really unusual things that you don't necessarily find them everywhere. Every place, rocks are sold, gems and minerals. And I started rattling off. I said, do you have, what? Danburite, azestulite, scolecite, and nandolite. I was looking for the really, really high vibrational zappy ones. Do you have any angelite? Do you have any? There was like a whole list that I walked in there with, and it was all the really, really high level, high energy, extremely fast frequency. And this lady looked at me, and she said, "That is the last thing you need." She said, everything that you've mentioned, that was like a list of 15 things or so. And she said, you're after the same energy, but you have enough of it. That's the last thing you need. What you need is something grounding, girl. You need something grounding. And she led me to everything that she would lead me to. Here's the red agate, here's the hematite, everything that's going to ground you. And if I had followed my own natural tendencies, pick what appeals to you, it would lead me away from expansion, because it led me only to the familiar and my comfort zone. It kept me in my comfort zone. And that's not actually what I needed. There comes a time when you've lived in your comfort zone probably too long, and you really need to stretch and begin to do something that you haven't done. And I had not done any grounding at all. I was as avoidant as could be. I was just not in my body at all. And at that time, that was shortly after the Joan memories had come back, and I was there doing Access Bars, a class. And my energy was running so high, and I was still carrying the Joan energy when I had first gotten the mass quantity of energy, and it was so electric. And there were people who said they could see birds flying around me all the time, and not everybody could see them, but several people who were intuitive were saying, "I see bird. You're surrounded by white birds. You're surrounded." But I really needed something to ground me. So that's really my only point, was that sometimes it's time to step out of your comfort zone. So like attracts like, but sometimes there's a reason to do the opposite too. And it's funny, because all of the things that we learn in the third dimension, even the things that we learn about spirituality, a lot of them that we learn about spirituality in the third dimension, religious doctrine, and even things like don't take on anybody else's stuff. If you're an empath, don't take on anybody else's stuff. A lot of that gets flipped on its head when you go up to 5. I mean, the higher dimensions, the rules of operating change. And if you navigate your life by the rules that that you believed must be true, you're going to be led astray. Where was I going with this? I feel like I really don't have a hell of a lot to say today. I'm sure you could get me to talk. Does anybody have any particular questions? I think they just wanted to test the connections to see how, to see how the energy is flowing. It has normalized substantially, hasn't it? Let's see, where's my snake? Oh, there he is. He's on the floor. Hang on a minute. Let me grab him. What you doing, buddy? Oh, Kenji, you're stuck. Hang on. Oh, please don't do that. Oh, come on. Just a minute. Sorry. Here he is. Okay, I got him. He was going on the floor, and I'm sure there's a message in there somewhere that you're okay now. We got you. Love my snake. Does anyone have any questions? Would you like to do a question and answer? I honestly, if she looks 11 days missing off, I'm not sure. Got something I want to ask you. Yes? Who's here? Hasn't the energy calmed down a lot though? Aaron Murphy, got something I want to ask you. If she looks 11 days missing off dry years since 1752, I don't actually know what that means at all. You're going to have to rephrase. Let's see. Oh, I've got a lot of people here. Because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, Belinda Spence, how are you? I see all my people. Hi. What should we talk about? Does anyone have a question? I thought about pulling cards. I'm really a terrible card reader. So doesn't that make you want to listen? Sure. All right. Oh, did it really? Your card turned two. Really? Yes, I do. Oh, that's cool. So that's 5 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 2s. Yes. So, oh, fascinating. And when was this? Hi, William Brooke. In your driveway. Wow. So if it's 5, so 5 for change and 2 for partnership, pairings. So balance, we're definitely talking about balance, right? Oh, that is neat. So we've reached a new level of balance. And because it's you, because I know you and I know your energy stream too. Very, very nice. Is this your new driveway or your old driveway? I would like to do some mini sessions with people, answer questions. I'm assuming it's your old driveway since you haven't, you told me you were moving, but you haven't moved yet. That is very, very cool. Awesome. I don't know. Anything else? I thought about just telling stories or something. I feel like we might be done. Let's see. Fire ants. I just caught wind of that. Okay, so I will talk about this. The financial system. This is so fascinating. Do I really? Good. I need more orbs. We all need more orbs. Hang on. Your old driveway, yeah. It's strangely vacant here. Do you feel it? I'm feeling oddly disconnected and vacant. Like, vacant's probably the wrong word, but normally, as soon as I connect, everything pours through. And it's not doing that. So it's telling me something about being more grounded or normalized. There's something, I do know that incoming is the tipping point is real close. There's something happened in there's something that I'm aware of that has happened in the construct just recently. It's not the same construct that it was. I've been talking about this this energetic construct that I've been in since ever. That was there during the Joan lifetime, and it emptied. Like, how do I want to say that? That is so weird. A number of things happen. There are 2 things going on simultaneously, and that's usually the case. There's an equal and opposite reaction. Always. Something has emptied and something, but at the same time, something has normalized and is now reconnected so that I'm not getting the disjointed, it's no longer disjointed the way it was for a long time. That's what we're checking tonight. And that's why they've been telling me, like, my voice came back to a degree. It's really going to come back someday when I get teeth. They tell me that there's still something, that part of that mission that is not yet completed. Something was supposed to be completed. And that part hasn't been done. But before, okay, that's the thing. So before that could happen, these circuits had to be connected completely, so that, because there's something incoming that's going to cause a big burst of energy. There's going to be a big blast, like a it's like a no, that's wrong. It's like a merger. There's like a what the hell's that? Oh crap, they're not telling me. There's a something that's going to surprise me, and it's incoming. I'm getting the word incoming. Something has to do with the banking system. Somehow it's related to the bank. It's going to affect the banking system. It's going to affect the banking system and correct an imbalance, and it's going to be a big energetic reconnection. That's the thing. There's like a what the hell is that? What is that? It's like a, no, not that. It's like a column of light. It's like a what is it? It's like a shaft of light, but it's like a really big shaft of light. It has an energetic property to it that's going to reinitiate. It's going to reinitiate, jumpstart. It's going to jumpstart a flow that goes in the appropriate direction. And it's big. There's like this, it's energetically, like it has a quality to it that very solid, like it's very solid. They're not letting me see it. Sorry, I forgot you were there for a second. I'm trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. But it looks like a gigantic shaft of light that's gonna, like, what? That's not right. The word like conquest comes to mind, but that's not right. It's something different. It's a meeting. It's a meeting. It's a something's coming in. There's a delivery. There's an energetic delivery. There's an energetic delivery. I don't know what form it takes. It's not that I haven't asked. It's that they refuse to tell me. And that's the that's like the it's like a source of anxiety is the wrong word too. Apprehension. It's a source of it's a yeah, I knew we were going to get back to this. I knew if I just started talking, we were going to get back to like higher energy coming in. There's something that has been blocked. My head's bothering me again. Something needs to be reconnected and fully reestablished. They're showing me gasoline. There's a gas station. They're showing me a gas station, and it's like some meeting in a gas station. But I don't think I'm going to be at the gas station. Maybe I will. But there's something, maybe. There's something that's like ignition and putting gas in the car. It's like something is going to get something to flow and lift up and really mobilize. The word's mobilize. And it directly relates to the financial system, and they're checking the yes, this is where the break is. We need to be able to, shit, sorry. I mean, we need to be able to shit. We need to be able to get it up and running so that we don't have this staccato, the way it is here when I'm speaking. It has to be more fluid. It has to be able to do that, because when this thing comes in, it's going to be very vibrant. It's going to be it's going to gives a lot of propulsion, and it's going to be correct propulsion. It's going to mobilize it. They're using the word armies, but that's not right. It's going to damn it. It's like, and priming the pump that's not right either. It feels like a jump start of energy. It feels like and it's coming in. I don't know when it is. I would like to say Easter. Easter would be so good. Wouldn't it be good if we got that tipping point on Easter? But this thing is like, it's like what we were waiting for. There's some kind of an initial, what the hell's the word for that? I just want, it's like momentum, propulsion, delivery. Something is finally being made available, and we're just on the precipice of this thing. And it's it's like, is it, sorry, I'm getting such interference here. It's like damn it. Some sort of like fluid being delivered, but it's not fluid. It's like that's not right either. I can't find the word. Damn it. It's like I want to say cosmic water pick, except it's not coming from the sky. It's but that's what it feels like. It feels like a cosmic water pick of energy, or some like a geyser. But it's a geyser that's going to keep going, and it somehow serves everybody, feeds everybody. Anyway, the whole point is they're checking the connections with my population, because when this delivery arrives, we need to be able to accommodate it evenly. Emphasis on even. We can't have portions of the network that are thin or broken, or it has to flow a certain way so that certain portions will be able to receive it without blockage or hindrance. And everyone in this network, if you're listening to this right now, you're getting an energetic transmission that you need to be dilated, or everyone in the network will be equally open to receiving, so that it doesn't get unbalanced, or there's an uncomfortable it could cause what the hell am I trying to say? This isn't making any sense. There's like something could get sorry, I'm paying attention to everything that's happening right now. There's something that's incoming that's going to be an energetic transmission that is coming from somebody else. It's not the normal energetic transmissions that I get, because I usually get them down and very familiar with that. This is something different. This is something that it's coming to my people. But it has a quality to it that also it seems like it would be like a shaft of light, but it has a flowing property to it. I believe that this is jump-starting the financial system. We very, very, very much need this. It's a delivery. They keep saying delivery. There's a delivery. Deliverance. There's a deliverance. and it has a very striated. Can you get off of my chair, please? It has a striated kind of like it's like a column. But there's a deliverance. It has a propulsion to it. And it's going to get everyone kind of jump-started, like my entire population. It feels like something is flowing through veins or the network, tributaries, rivers. It's very much like a river, but it's a river of light. It's very strong. It's very, what? It's like selenite, but here's my selenite. It's over there. Anyway, it's like selenite. It's very striated, and it pours forth, and it's going to. I almost said hit us, but that's the wrong word, because we can't use that word. We have to be open to receiving it in a way where we meet it without resistance. That's the message I wanted to say. We need to be able to meet it without resistance, because somehow if we meet it with resistance, it's going to cause pain, and it also won't flow properly. We can't have that. It has to be received I can't tell. Anyway, we have to somehow open to receive this thing and be equanimity. I'm getting the word equanimity. I think you got the picture. There's some sort of it's it's not equality. There's a network of everybody who has to be open to receiving. I guess that's it. My whole population must be open to receiving. And receiving doesn't mean hoarding. It means receiving and passing on, so that the equality is established. And there's a commencement of this thing that's coming very shortly. I don't know how shortly. And also, I always hesitate to say that because I'm off the timeline, I always think things are like imminent, like happening right now. I also feel like there's movement. There is. I just feel like there is. But I know I have said that before, so whatever. I feel like I don't really have anything to say. I feel strangely vacant, so that the new thing can come in. That's the whole point. Okay, so the whole point is that now that we have been suitably emptied, we are now ready for the new, wherever it leads us. Oh, okay. So this is a thing that I was going to talk about, and I do make lists. Choice points. So as we step into this new era, we're going over a threshold, right? We're going over a threshold to a realm where it's not that we've never been to 5. It's not that 5 isn't known, but never before has there been, never before has any planet ascended and taken its physical vessel with it. So that's pretty sexy. That's pretty cool. It's going to be up to us moment to moment by moment, step by step, to stay in a state of creation. Because it's going to require a completely different mindset, because The state of creation is the state of staying in a place of flow where every choice you make is creating your path. But the weird thing is that we're going into this realm where there is no path. So you're going to have to wind up really changing your mentality and away from looking at what others have done and stepping into your own presence and asking yourself what you want in every single moment. And it's going to matter because we are the pioneers who are making this not only for ourselves, not only for our immediate family, not only for our immediate circle, but we're paving the way that what the others, this like the second wave, we're paving the way for them too. It becomes a different kind of responsibility. And as I said before, the rules all change. We need to start thinking about simultaneously thinking of ourselves as sovereign and being strictly accountable for the choices that we make, but also being very aware of the fact that everything we do has consequences, and we are responsible not only for our own little world and our own selves, but for the ripple effects that what we create brings to others. For example, if you you could say, well, I'm an artist and I'm a writer and I make movies, whatever, and your choice of subject matter, the way you handle subject matter, you're going to be responsible for that. You take as an example, like somebody who writes horror movies. In the third dimension, you could maybe get away because it's spiritual infancy. And also in the third dimension, people who write horror movies are getting, usually their ideas are coming, they're being swayed by dark forces who want to create more of that. In the fifth dimension, you have the beginnings of actual creative power. Beyond merely responding to something, you're actually stepping into a realm where you're responsible for what you create in the world and how it affects mass consciousness. So this is a brand new thing that we haven't experienced that before, because whatever you put out, you're going to be responsible for the wave that it creates. And because there's near instant manifestation, you know, one really bad apple up there can tank the group kind of fast, unless everybody else is suitably high vibrational that they recognize it. Usually if you're able to get up to 5, there's also probably, I'm not explaining this well. If you're able to get up to 5, if you're there already, then your creations are manifesting fairly quickly, and you're also probably transmuting for others as well. So if you have an incoming, dark thoughts, or you're likely to transmute it and turn it toward light and higher vibrations anyway. It brings up the whole idea of creation in the fifth dimension brings up the issue of what do you do about darkness, because you need darkness to be able to create, but you want to make sure that you can create something that doesn't stay dark. And what I would say about that is just don't lead your audience into darkness and leave them there. You really want to have create something with the idea that you're being a wise steward of others. I would say look to J.K. Rowling as being a really good example of a way to do that successfully, where she doesn't avoid darkness. You know, you say the word Voldemort, you can meet true darkness, you can talk about people dying, you can talk about fear, but she doesn't ever leave her audience in a place, she doesn't abandon them there. And she's not trying to, she's supporting, she's utilizing darkness properly as a teaching tool, and then at the end she leads her audience out, and in the process of the experience of her work, you've gotten stronger, you've gotten richer, but you're not abandoned. You're not left with mere darkness. And so I would say be real cautious with that, and also be cautious about the whole thing of familiarity, because that's going to be that's my real caveat about creating in the fifth dimension, is that you have to really be aware of where the third dimension got screwed. How did that happen? And we have to make sure that doesn't happen again. Because if we go toward what is merely familiar, we're going to wind up recreating the past pattern, and we can't have that. We can remember that I was talking about taking the portions that you like and leaving the portions that you don't like. You don't have to take everything from it. You can say, God, it's a little bit like Notre Dame. So they're rebuilding Notre Dame. You don't have to abandon all of it. You definitely have to abandon the pedophilia in the church. You can keep the beautiful portions of the structure that survived. You can keep the things that you love. You can keep the parts that you love. And in the fifth dimension, the rule of creation is steal like an artist. We're going to be, every choice that we make in the fifth dimension it yields manifestation much faster than we're aware of, than we have been accustomed to, put it that way. And very shortly, I don't know when, but very shortly, we're going to be there as a group. It's going to be better. Things in the third dimensional world are still going to be happening around us, but they won't be affecting us. And they will be affecting those who haven't yet made the jump. So those of us in 5, our job is to prepare for the second wave. So those of us who are going first in the first wave, the ones who I said previously, we've had the crap beaten out of us, we know what to do. We know how to live. We don't get scared when we meet hardship. We know how to steer. We know how to navigate. It's our job to establish a network, a framework, a loose framework, establish the kind of the basic, there's got to be a better way to say that. Kind of get there and make it a welcoming place. Get the lay of the land established so that when the later wave comes up, who have just been through trauma, they're going to need some loving arms to come to. They're going to need they're going to need a framework or a certain rules to be established, and they're going to need to learn them. So our job in going up first, we are the pioneers. I mean, really, for real, we are the pioneers. And not only are we the pioneers for this planet, we're the pioneers for for all the multiverse, because this has never been done before. So the choices that we make now, the choices that we establish, matter. It's going to have a long-lasting effect. Although we also are going to have change that's faster. So, like when we fuck up, we're going to know about it quick, because there's instant manifestation. So if you start to go off, you're like, "Whoa, that was a mistake. We won't do that." We have learned to self-correct kind of rapidly, because we're in the third dimension, we've got the safety mechanism of the timeline, so that there's a gap between our thoughts and when they manifest. Thank God. We need that. But it also in some ways, it makes it hard, because people in the third dimension don't know. They don't make the connection that what they kept thinking about is why something happened, or they drew something to them. But in the fifth dimension, things happen pretty quick. So you have to learn how to do that with a greater degree of confidence. All right. I feel like I was going to say something else, and I don't remember what it was. I feel like how do you feel about the connections? I feel like, I love you too, Andrew. I was just thinking about you today. Andrew. So, Andrew, do you have any questions, anything you want to say? I was just thinking about you today. I was just about to get off this call, but now that you're here, maybe I'll stay. Oh, Gretel's here. Rita, hi. I was thinking about you today too. Rita was married to my cousin at one point. Okay, what do I have to say? I think I'm done. I feel like I'm done for tonight. The connections feel like it's steady and normal, right? Doesn't it seem that way to you? I'm feeling around for it. Hang on. I'll be very interested to see what comes in, because something's coming in. One of the things that has happened is that since I'm not completely grounded, I'm like tethered. I'm like some kind of weird. I love what do you say? I love everybody. Me too. Andrew, I hope to meet you in person someday. So many of my people on Facebook, like, man, if I got a bunch of money, I would just love to. I was daydreaming. I was thinking, if I had just large chunk money, how much I would just love to anonymously, probably anonymously, just send chunk money to people I know that I've talked to so many of you for so long. And I know what your projects are and what you wish you could get off the ground, and we're all just short of funding. And the thing that I would love to do the most, apart from my own creative work, because I really want to get back to actually creating something. I haven't done that in like 6 years. I was taken off to deal with the junk crap, and then I haven't done anything. But I did in this process. I reconnected with so many people who I would love to be able to send Katie Indicrow some, she doesn't need any guides or anything. She just needs some funding. I would just love to send her some funding. I would love to send Todd Manita some funding. So many people have projects, and I know what they are. And I'm like, man, not only would I love to just lift everyone out of homelessness. But the project, so many people have these great ideas, and I'm thinking, yeah, those are really great ideas. Wouldn't the world just be better if everybody could just take off and do all of their creative work? The funding issue is so stupid. So stupid. We just need to get over that one hump. All right. But we are like, there is something coming, man. I'm telling you, there is something coming. I don't know how it's going to jumpstart me. They're not telling me. But I will say, right before I know I always say I'm going to end a call, and then I don't. In my group, my immediate, like the Joan construct, it came down to the group of people, and there were certain things that weren't working, but there were certain things that did work, and we were prevented from connecting and actually getting the fucker up and running. With the dark forces out of the way, the funds can come, the energy can run, with the obstacles lifted, with peace restored, with connectivity restored, all we have to do is the rebirth, and that's the funnest thing. That's the fun part. What we get to do now is like the juicy part, the fun part, the magic part. It's just magic. It's like all chemical magic, and you get to add stuff together and like dig around with properties and pull properties from one thing or another, and like kind of enlist people. Like, I have met people on Facebook with just these fantastic skills, and I'm like, if I just had a place to put you, I would say, man, Jen Reynolds, get her on this task because she could do a great job with that. Like, I just know who has what skills, and there's so many, the volunteerism, the fuel. Just we get the blocks out of the way. If the blockages are out of the way, the joy in giving, the love of giving, the service. People who just, they're amped, and all they want to do is have an avenue, a free avenue, so that they can do the thing that they came to do and actually just deliver it. They just need all the crap out of the way. And then all the creative juices start to flow. And you just get a brainstorming session with other excited people. Let's do that. And challenge one another to do better. There's a way that I can't stand competition, but there's a way to take the good qualities of competition, which do exist. The part where you're constantly challenged. I've always thought that, personally, my favorite thing to do is even though I love equality, love equality, one of my favorite things is to actually be in second place, because then there's like, you don't have so much pressure, and you're always challenged to go that much further. I love that. I really love that, because it's my own personal opinion. And I have I'm aware enough of my past life history that there have been lifetimes where I've been the best in the world at something. I was the best organ player when I was young. I was a prodigy when I was John Stanley. I was a prodigy, and I think when I was 11, I beat out like 40 adult people, anyway, I beat out 40 adults at for a job as an organist once, and it was vied for. I was considered the best organist in the world, and by such a wide margin that it was I wouldn't say it's not fun, because I loved it. That's why I got good at it. I got that much. I was that good at it because it never felt like work, ever. I practiced all the time. When I was John Stanley, they had to make me come to dinner. And when I would go to dinner, and I was still playing. I was just playing in my head. And the woman who lived with us, I don't know why I'm telling you the story. The one that lived with us at the time, I was blind in that lifetime, and I couldn't read sheet music because I was blind. And my wife's sister in that lifetime, I was a man, she would play everything, because she played the piano, and if I needed to hear somebody else's music, or I would get a piece of sheet music sent to me, and she would play it, and I would know it. I could memorize it immediately, and I could play it back after hearing it once. And she would practice 2 hours a day. And I know now, because I was shown this when I went out of my body, I found out that in that lifetime, she was always trying to impress me, and I hadn't said thank you. I didn't know that she needed that. It never occurred to me that she was trying to impress me. I had no idea. But the interesting thing is that in that lifetime is that she felt that 2 hours a day was practice, and it felt like work to her, and she was always trying to get my approval. And when you work that way, you're working for somebody else's approval, and that's why 2 hours felt like work, and she always wanted something from me that I never gave her. But the difference is I could play and did. I would play for, 10 hours a day or more. And it didn't feel like work. I was inspired to do it more because I was doing it all boils down to why you do anything. I was playing out of love and passion and fascination, and I was so driven to continue constantly, and never felt like work. And that's really the deciding factor. Find something that you love to do and do that. The sad thing is that a lot of people never find the thing that they love. They do things for the wrong reason. Find something that you love and do it as hard as you can. We're stepping into a realm where in the fifth dimension is all about all love all the time. We're still going to exist with a certain degree of contrast enough so that movement is still possible. But the sheer level, the saturation of love on the planet, it's going to be so much more saturated that even when quote unquote bad things happen, you could still spill the milk, but it's not going to, your reaction, it's not going to affect you. You're just going to be living in a state of, basically a state of bliss. Most of the time, creative bliss, interest, when you really get into doing something and you're just interested and you don't want to be called away. You don't want to be called away. You want to keep working. That's what it's like. That's the magic. And we don't have it. There's just a different system. You study something because you want to. You study what you want. It's very fluid and enjoyable. There's much less of a schedule. It's a totally different structure. Anyway, there is still commitment. You can take the parts of things that you like. Anyway, I think I'm done. I'm going to go to sleep. I love you all extra. I think they just wanted to check the connections tonight, and that's it. So if anybody you have angels around. Good. Do I? Good. You have angels around you too. You're one of my angels around me. I love my people. There goes squealing. My pigs are squealing. I don't know. Are we done? They're saying sing. I suddenly feel very tired. I think I'm going to go to sleep. I love you. You are an angel, I know. Daryl Wayne Bolt. Bye. I love you all.